up. I have started laundry, or been working on laundry for a while. I have had my breakfast. I have let the dogs out for their morning round, fed the kitty cats outside, and I am currently working on Miss Betsy's towel. I measured it, and I was at like 12 and a half inches, and it grows really fast, so it has to get to 15 inches. So I think a couple, three more rows will see me there. I'm almost done with this ball of yarn, so I'm going to have to go get another ball back there, but luckily I have plenty of this color. I want to get it done. She has to make a trip up to take care of her grandkids. If you followed along on my vlog, you know that her youngest grandchild has been having some issues. They've had to drive to Kansas City to take care of. They live close to Springfield in a town called Carthage. And so Miss Betsy goes up and watches the older grandkids while they take the younger one on up. But I'm supposed to see her today or tomorrow for lunch. I don't know. We hadn't made definitive plans yet, so I would like to get these towels done before I see her so that she can have them before Christmas. Also, too, one of the things I want to do today, my ears. One of the things I want to do today is work on some beeswax wraps. In the past, I've made them, and I have an old crock pot that I use when I make soap. And in the past, I have used it hello ears. I've used it, and it's kind of messy, you know, because you're dripping stuff and everything. And so I was looking for some tutorials. I know that Angela had done it on knitting on the farm with an iron, and I thought, okay, I could do that. But then I found one from Ansha Jones where she uses the oven, where she just lays things out in a cookie sheet and puts some wax paper down, and then she Willie's jealous of ears, so he's gonna get petted too. Then she just puts it in the oven and lets the oven do the work. And I thought, I like that method even better, because then I don't have to sit there and babysit it while I'm working on it. I've got plenty of cotton fabric, and I thought this would be great to put in the baskets for Marianne's daughters, Amber and Tommy, because of their dietary restrictions. I'm not sure what kinds of things I can put in their baskets. So I figured to err on the side of caution and give them things that they can use. I mean, they wanted some of my elderberry tincture, and I've got some mint extract I'm going to put in there, and some homemade vanilla that I'm going to put in there. But also, I thought some of the fabric folded stars, like from Last Homely House East of the Sea, might make a couple of those and put in there. And then some of these beeswax wraps, and that would be a nice gift basket. So, I think this afternoon, after I get my chores done, I'm gonna put you down because you're making a mess here. After I get my chores done, I thought I would work on those beeswax wraps. One of the things that I've kind of challenged myself with doing over the next few days is I've bought all this stuff. You know, I joke about wanting to learn all these different crafts. And so I've bought all this stuff, and I have a ridiculous amount of craft supplies. And I thought, okay, you bought in the last year, you've bought a Cricut, you've bought a tatting beginner's kit, you have bought the punch. No, we're not doing that. We've bought the punch needle stuff, and now you have the quilling. And you haven't really tried any of them. I tried a little bit with the Cricut, and I just got discouraged. No, we're not doing that. Behind ears. I just got discouraged a little bit with it. I know it's not hard, but there is a learning curve, and I think my headspace just wasn't right before. So I've told myself, okay, every day for the next week, why don't you make a commitment to try learning begin to learn one of these new things that you have got. You know, so you've had the Cricut since last spring, and you've tried with it one time. You've had the tatting stuff since the fall, early fall. Sorry, they wanted to go out. You've had the tatting stuff since early fall. The punch needle too. And so why not make a commitment to at least attempt these things while you're off over break and you've got sort of the mental capacity to work on this stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I'm almost done with this towel. I've got just a little bit more to go on it, and I'll have to make his little buttons and his cheeks and stuff, but that won't take but maybe an hour to do. So when you get done with the little towel today, and after you get your chores done, you know, pick one of the things. Well, today I'm going to do beeswax wraps, so maybe tomorrow, but pick something and just try it. Just try to work on it, you know. Try to learn a little more about it and get a start on it. And I thought, okay, that's reasonable. Because now is the right time to do that, because I have the brain space, first of all, because I'm not in the semester. And second of all, I have the time. I have a little bit of time. Because really the only commitment on my time I've got in the next few days, we have the hoof trimmer comes to the barn Saturday morning. And I'm supposed to have lunch with Miss Betsy sometime in the next day or so, but I think she has to take her car today. So okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a commitment to myself to try to learn these new crafts and get better at them. The Cricut is a little overwhelming to me because, you know, there's a pretty steep learning curve. Plus, they have you buy it, and then you have to buy this little tool and that little tool, and then you have to pay for this design or that design. And I know that there's free stuff out there, but I kind of have to learn one thing at a time. I have to learn how to use it, and then I have to learn how to find the free stuff, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to play around with that stuff later this week. We've got about another 6 days together if I go to the 25th. Last year I went all the way to New Year's Eve. I don't know if I'll do that this year. I'll just kind of gauge reaction and see who would be interested in continuing to see my face. Anyway, okay, I'm going to work on Miss Betsy's towel here, and I'll check back in with y'all here in a little while. When you thought you ordered the same color yarn that you had, forgetting that I had ordered a darker brown for this. This is the wrong color. So now I can't finish this towel because I'm almost out of this yarn. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Well, I guess I could make it a little bit shorter if I had to. We'll see what I do. I'll figure something out. Well, I couldn't figure anything out. So I just ordered some more yarn, and Miss Betsy's gift will be late. That's okay. She can use them next year. Flitter. Oh well. You know, I ordered this because apparently I conflated the two words jute and ecru. So now I have 4 balls of ecru sugar and cream yarn. So I guess I'm going to crochet some dishcloths or knit some dishcloths out of this. Yay. Oh well, I'm going to finish off with this brown yarn, and then because it's still too cold to go outside, I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to go drag out one of those crafts that I've been meaning to work on and start trying to figure it out. Yay me.
Hi, Holly. Hi, Holly, my silver-faced girl. My silver-faced girl. Did you know you've been with me for how many years is it? I don't remember. 2009, so 10 years. You've been with me for 10 years. You've been with me for 10 years, or is it 11 years? Was it 2008? I don't even remember. I found you on Christmas Day at the gas station. Yes.
Well, I decided I finished up as much as I could, and I made the little buttons and cheeks for my gingerbread man. So I decided I would take a little while and finish uploading the pictures that I took of my stash so that I could get back to that project as well. But I have some help this morning. They say when you bottle feed a kitten, they turn out to be extra rotten. And I have empirical evidence of that fact here. Because she is extra rotten. She thinks she doesn't do anything wrong, and that the world is her oyster to do whatever she wants to. Or in case her can of tuna fish. Maybe not oysters. She might like oysters, though. We don't have those here. Yeah. I'm ruled by these animals, if y'all haven't figured that out already. my entire existence is to take care of them. Yes. Yes. I love you too. Okay, so once again, I'm terrible about keeping up with my advent calendars. But these are day 19 and 20, so yesterday and today, from Lollipop Girl Yarns. And then these are the two things that Miss Shirley sent me. So more to add to my stash. Yay! Well, I am working on, because I have to be finishing things. I like to finish things. I am working on documenting my stash still. I'm going to go out and feed in a little bit. But right now I'm doing like my commercial yarns like Barocco and Sirdar and Malabrigo and things like that. So I'm taking again a group picture, as you can see, and then I'm taking individual pictures and putting them in Ravelry, because now I'm on that roll, so I might as well finish it, right? Kirsty has mentioned in her stories, if you go look at her Instagram, some other people that are doing stash down, so you can double dip. And I'm also doing the pattern stash down, so mine will be a combo platter, if you will, of stash downs, of pattern stash, and of yarn stash. So ideally you use yarn you had before January 1st with a pattern you had before January 1st, right? Because I looked at I have 1,000 patterns, which may be not a lot, maybe a lot. I try to jump on free stuff when I find it, but that's a lot of patterns. I'll never make that in the whole of my life. I will never use all these craft supplies in the whole of my life. But hey, that doesn't matter. We're having a good time. So, yeah, so I am working on that, but I just got notification that I got a package in the mail, so I'm going to head out there and get it. Well, I decided while I was out here I would go ahead and feed the birds. As you can hear, the geese are actually vegetarians, as opposed to the ducks and the chickens and the turkeys, which are omnivores. So the geese, for them, I always give a little extra hay so that they have a little grazing, and I'll let them out when I'm outside working. Once I get my Christmas stuff done, I'm going to actually start working outside, and when I'm outside and I can keep an eye on everybody, I actually let them out and let them wander around the yard and enjoy some fresh grazing and just explore a little bit. So I'm giving them a little bit of hay. As soon as I get this part of my stash done, I'm going to come out and start putting out hay, because the mini horses and the horses and the cows will all need it. The mini horses and the horses and the cows will all need hay today, so I'll do that as soon as I get done documenting my stash. Are you enjoying the hay? Y'all are loud. You're loud. Oh, here you come, showing out. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Mr. Prize winner. Yeah, you're proud of yourself, aren't you? Yes, I see you too. Yeah, everybody's showing off. Gotta get your camera time, huh? Okay, well, I have documented all the yarn I think that I'm going to do for the Grenade Creations thing. I might do one photo of some crochet thread, because I plan on making some doilies next year. I am not putting all that acrylic in Ravelry. That's just, no, that ain't happening. But anyway, so I've documented in Ravelry all of my indie dyed yarn and a lot of my commercial yarn. I've still got a little bit to do, but it's time to go put out some hay, so that'll just have to wait. I meant to go earlier, and I got a just a routine claim form from my insurance company, And they had denied the claim for the anesthesiologist for my colonoscopy. And I'm like, I don't get to pick the anesthesiologist that the hospital uses, y'all. So I talked with a very nice woman, and she was very helpful. They are going to pay the claim in full, thankfully, because I'm like, I can't tell the hospital I'm not going to use their anesthesiologist. I don't think that's a done thing. But anyway, so yeah, because I got that and opened up, and I was like, my eyes got really big because I'm like, that's a lot of money. But they're not. They're going to pay it. There's a clause in there that says, you don't get to pick your radiologist and your pathologists and your anesthesiologist. It's whoever the clinic or the hospital uses. So they will pay the claim. So that's good. But it took me. I was on the phone while she was going through all this stuff for about 45 minutes. So that ate into my going out and feeding, but I did sit here and put stuff in the computer for Ravelry, so I didn't waste my time. But anyway, so I'm going to go out and put hay out. I've already fed the birds. I just need to feed the rabbits, and I've got to put hay out for everybody today, so that's going to take me a little while. So I'm just going to put my coveralls on and head out and get it done. Okay, well, I have fed and watered everybody outside and put hay out for everybody. One of the bales that are out for my cattle, they're not eating, so it looked like it might be moldy, so I'll have to let Mr. Taylor know, and he said he would give me another one if there was one they wouldn't eat. So I got all my stash documented, at least photographically, for Kirsty's make-along, and I went ahead and did all my crochet thread too. So I think after talking with Maria, she was showing me a couple of patterns she wanted to try. I think I may have a string along next year, a good kind of string along, not the kind of string along you get from somebody that you're dating, but the good kind of string along where we do some thread crochet or thread knitting if you want to, but thread crochet for me. That could be doilies, it could be ornaments, it could be tablecloths, it could be, the patterns she showed me were these beautiful table runners. And if it's something you've been intimidated to try, I really encourage you to try it. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the teensy hooks. It can be on a slightly larger hook. That's how I started, and then I've worked my way down to smaller ones. It's really not that bad. It's not as hard as you might think. If you know how to crochet, it's really not terrible. It's a little fiddly to get started, but to me, then once you get started, it's really not any harder than crochet because the thread is grippy. That cotton thread is pretty grippy, so it doesn't slip around and slide around like you might expect. So I've cut out some fabric for some beeswax wraps here. I'm probably going to have to get some more beeswax, but I save scraps. Now, little teensy scraps I'll throw away, but if I've got a piece of a scrap that's, this size, I'm going to save it because that could be a small wrap for a little piece of cheese. It could go over the top of a small bowl. Whatever, you could wrap up, a small piece of fruit in that. So I like this size of wrap. And then I made some larger ones, and I think these will work for sandwiches. Okay. Might be a little small, but that's okay. I made a couple of those size and one a little slightly bigger. And there's another one with the horses on it that's a small one. Then I made some, I like these oblong ones. Again, these can go on a bowl, or you can wrap up vegetables in them or something. Just something that again, whatever your imagination can do. The bigger ones I like these for bread. Okay, so I made a couple of those or cut out a couple of those size. There's another oblong one out of the fabric that I used for the stars for the horses, and then there's another one. So, I guess I've got that upside down. But anyway, so I made two this size also. Could be sandwiches or bowl covers or whatever. So I'm going to see how far the beeswax I've got gets me. The beekeeping store is actually having a customer appreciation day on Saturday, and I have to be in town anyway because the hoof trimmer is coming. So I may go by there and pick up some more beeswax if I need it, and do a little business with them. I need to get some winter patties for my bees anyway, to feed them. So, because these warm days are actually not good because they get out and fly around and then they burn energy and there's really nothing to eat. That's why I went ahead and planted that witch hazel so that it'll bloom in the spring and give them a little food. I mean, it won't be very big for a few years, but at least it's a start. So, anyway, speaking of food, I worked straight through lunch, so I'm pretty hungry right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start cooking what I was going to make for dinner. So cook a little early dinner tonight. Okay, so I finished a few of these. What I normally do is hang them. I've got these like trouser hangers that I've saved, and I hang them up on those to let them cool. This one's already cooled off to the point now that it's stiff. So I'll show y'all kind of what's going on here in this next little laid out in a cookie sheet here, and I'm using beeswax pastilles from Mountain Rose Herbs, a big bag. You know, this is a pound bag, and it's lasted me a really long time. So the nice thing about using beeswax is, since it's non-toxic, you can use your regular cooking stuff. So this is just a cookie sheet. And hot soapy water will just clean this up when I'm done with it. So I just scatter the pastilles out. And then I'm actually going to fold this over on itself a little bit here. Just because if you put enough beeswax on there, it'll soak through without any problem. And I scatter, always just for good measure, scatter a few on the top. So, and then I've got my oven. Angela recommended 300 Fahrenheit. So I've got it on that, and I'm just going to stick it in here until this melts. Okay, I've just pulled them out to check them. You can tell if the beeswax hasn't made good coverage because the fabric will tell on it. It'll be darker where the beeswax is and lighter where it hasn't soaked in yet. And then, like, I will warn you, beeswax is naturally kind of yellow. So if you use a white background fabric, it's going to turn it a little bit dull or yellow, which that doesn't bother me. But anyway, so I've turned these to let them soak up the rest of the beeswax that's in the pan and get a better coverage. I might put just a little bit more on this bottom piece right here, just to make sure it's getting good coverage. We want them to be nice because some of these will be for gifts. So I'm going to back in the oven. Actually, I need to give credit where credit's due. I already said it this morning, but I misspoke when I was recording one of my clips doing this. Angela was making these on her Vlogmas, and that gave me the idea that I needed to make some more. But Ansha Jones is the one who gave me the idea to do it in the oven. And it is so much less trouble to do it in the oven. I'm not even going to lie. And the nice thing about these is I've got some that I made for myself, a year and a half or two ago, and you can rehabilitate them if they get to where they're kind of losing if they've lost their wax, or their wax is getting a little dilapidated, like this one looks a little dilapidated. You can refurbish them. You can just put more, you can heat them up and you can put more wax on them, and they'll be good as new. So I'm going to refurbish these while I'm at it, because why not? I've already got the oven hot and I've already got the wax out, and my fingers are already waxy, so why not? There we go. They're dried and ready to take off the hanger. Doesn't take long. It's one of the super easiest things you can do if you've got fabric scraps. It doesn't take much fabric to make a sandwich wrap, or a wrap to put like a piece of fruit or a piece of some cheese or whatever in. And it's a great way to use up fabric scraps and be a little friendlier to the environment, right? It's a win-win. So Angela, thanks for reminding me that I knew how to do this. And it'll be a great gift for somebody too. So, okay, I'm going to go finish up what I'm working on, and I'll check back in with y'all. These are the ones that I had that I refurbished, and they look good as new. So I'm going to take these down. I've got a few more to do, and then I'll show you all the ones that I made tonight, plus the ones that I refurbished. Well, I just looked up on Mountain Rose. They're out of stock of the bag size that I have, but normally a 1 pound bag is $17.50, which you can make a whole bunch of stuff with a 1 pound bag. They also sell them in 5 pound bags, which are $70. but you could, I mean, a 1 pound bag has lasted me for a really long time. So, and I've used it for like deodorant and lip balm and healing balms and soaps and different things. So, you know, if you want to try this, it's not hard. And you can get them from other places. I just like to buy from Mountain Rose because I know that's always going to be good quality. Okay, so I got them all finished. I'm a little skimpy on the beeswax with this one. You can kind of see where it didn't get good coverage. So I'm going to put that one aside until I get some more beeswax. But, yeah, so I made quite a few. I got that one. That's a nice big size. I made a couple of these unicorn ones. That's a little small one that I refurbished. And this is another smaller one. So that's one of my small ones that I had made before that I refurbished. And this was a bread wrap size that I had refurbished. There's another horse one. And a nice red one. And then these are some more that I had made for myself that I've redone. Kind of in my own light there. And then this is a nice little horse one. Sun and moon. A nice yellow stars. Another unicorn one. And a smaller horse one. And a little flower print. A little horse. Another red. So I got quite a few out of that little bit of a bag of beeswax that I had. Like I said, that one horse one needs just a little bit more on it to be really good. But so these are a nice selection. I'll figure out maybe give some of these as gifts. One thing about cleaning these, I just wipe mine off with a damp, wet washcloth. You don't ever want to put them in the washing machine, obviously, or the dryer. But a damp, wet washcloth, and that'll get them clean enough. That'll get them clean. I shouldn't say clean enough. That will get them clean. So yeah, I think this is a nice little selection. It's an easy gift to make if you have the fabric, and it's a good way to use your scraps up, and it's a good way to be a little bit greener. Yay. Well, I called Miss Marianne, just got kind of caught up with her about some stuff, and while I was on the phone with her, I fixed up a couple of more of my little fleecy lap robes. This one's a little bit smaller, but it could be put around their shoulders or around their neck, laps or whatever. This is a remnant that I got somewhere, and I forgot that I even had it until I was digging out my crochet thread, and I found it in the bin with it. So I used that, and then I had bought this for myself originally, but I'm not ever going to do anything with it, so I should make it for someone who will use it. I thought this was super cute fleece fabric. So that one's a little bit bigger. I have two more pieces back there. One has foxes on it, and one has deer on it. So I'll probably make those up as well. It's a little bit before 8 o'clock, and I am probably going to be done with Vlogmas for today. I thought I brought my snowflake stuff in here. I'm going to sit and crochet on a snowflake and talk to a friend online for a while probably. And so that'll be a good way to end tonight's Vlogmas. I hope that you are all doing good. I hope that if you are struggling this time of year, please reach out, to someone. Reach out to me. I consider y'all my people. Y'all are my people. So, as Toby said in the West Wing, you're my guys and I'm yours. And, don't be sad and alone, feel like you're alone, because we have a little community here. It can be hard this time of year. I know for people it's a lonely time if maybe you're far away from family, or maybe you don't have family, and it can be hard. Just, the world tells us we ought to be a certain way, and you see all these commercials or you see these Christmas movies, and then you kind of start feeling like there might be something wrong with you if you can't measure up. But those goals are not real. Live your own life. Be who you want to be and be proud of who you are. And if that's where you're at, then that's all you need to do. So, and I get it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had a little bit of a meltdown last night. Got to watching a movie, Christmas movie, and it was, for some reason, just hit me. And it was called Noel, and it was with Susan Sarandon and Robin Williams, and it's an older movie. It had Penelope Cruz in it and Paul Walker, and it was very sweet, but it broke my heart, and I just cried and cried and cried. I'm not gonna lie, probably more than I should have. But anyway, I'm fine today, and thank you to those who reached out to check on me. But I'm gonna work on my snowflakes. I got to find where I put my bag first, and then I will check in with y'all tomorrow. So y'all have a good night. Bye.